Welcome in, everyone. Welcome back in. I'll check the sound on my end. Let's see if you guys get the notifications this time, hopefully. All right, let me see if I can do that a little louder. All right, turning it up some more. I just want to make sure the sound is good. Still no notification, I see. Interesting. I don't like this. No notification. Very interesting, but we will not let that disturb us. The people that are meant to hear this message today will hear this message. This is so much bigger than a psychic investigation, so much bigger than Charlie Kirk and Erika Kirk and Candace and Trump. This is about the attack on humanity's nervous system. And today we're going to take a viewpoint, and you're going to just hear me speak about my findings today. So I won't do any psychic drawings or anything. There will be a lot of channeling, a lot of viewing, a lot of me just using my gifts and abilities to take a look at this thing. But there's something welling up in my spirit that is telling me that we are under attack by the Charlie Kirk and Erika Kirk psyop of 2025. And this is what we're going to tap into today. Okay, so when you come in, please, guys, subscribe to the channel. I put my heart, my soul, my love, my passion into this. And please like the video and share and comment. All of those things really do help. So I'm just going to take care of a few things on my end. And I don't know why we're not getting the notifications, but, this is just, confirming the message. So take care of a few things here, and then we will get started, guys. I hope you guys are feeling really good this evening. I hope so. It's about to get interesting, and this is a lot to hold too. So because I represent the collective, you guys are usually a vibrational match for my messages. It's a lot to hold what we are about to go through, and it could be kind of a lot. But that's part of the message, because I believe that we're under attack physically. This is what we're going to talk about. Please, guys, put in the chat, shout out your city, your country, your province, your state, your mood, your vibe, all of that good stuff. Right. One moment, guys. Okay, Renita, welcome in from Indonesia. Love it. Oh my God, guys, this is really sad. No one is here. No one's got the notification. Did you receive a notification? Notification didn't go out. Very, very interesting. I've tried to do this twice and no notification. And that really makes me sad. It really does. It really, really, really does. And to be honest with you, there's been a lot of me trying to do this message all day today. And I've been getting a lot of interference. So just goes to show you that they don't want this message out, because this is exactly what is happening This is what's happening. Okay. So wait for some of you guys to come in while I take care of a few things here. No notifications still. I think I'm on the naughty list. Boy, boy, boy. I think I'm on the naughty list, but that's okay. I'm still going to show up. Welcome in. Hi. Hi, guys. Hi, Izzy. Hi, Sister Sonia. Hi, Tortilla. Hi, guys. Please, guys, when you come in, please put a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. I'm going to go ahead and do my announcements, and hopefully people will just check YouTube, because apparently YouTube doesn't like notifications anymore. First and foremost, guys, let me introduce you to me. My name is Tahira. If you do not know, Mother of the Ages, I am a supernatural quantum healer. I specialize in quantum telepathic healing modalities, and quantum telepathic hypnosis is my own form of quantum healing hypnosis, where we literally go to the event through a past life and we find something that happened in a past life that will make your present day life much better. It is the most healing, most thorough session that I have. I do have that discounted into the end of the year, which is coming up in tomorrow. So you can go ahead, links are down below. You can book that. It's literally the cheapest that it will ever be. And then also too, and thank you guys for enrolling in our January juice feast. We are fasting for the month of January, and you can join in. So we're going to couple fasting in with quantum healing. So we're going to meet once a week as a collective group. We're going to have fun. We might even do some vision boards. We're really just going to just ground in these quantum healing modalities. We're going to do brain and heart coherence, teach you guys some tools on how to regulate your nervous system and how to literally bring heart and brain together, which will literally help you, it's like a supercharge into the subconscious. We're going to do group past life regression together, and a lot of guided meditation, channeled messages, and all of that good stuff. And if you'd like to enroll in that, that starts January 3rd. So it's almost January 3rd. So there's some links down below and you can enroll in that. Thank you guys so much for being here. I don't even know where to start, but nevertheless, I am here. First and foremost, I am so thankful for every single person that watches this channel, that watches the videos, and that comes in with an open mind. Thank you so much. You guys really do fuel me. I want to say that. Now, I want you guys to just be patient with me in this video today. I want to approach this differently than I have before in the psychic investigations. I'm going to take a kind of position of like a bird's eye view. We're going to look at this because there's been a lot happen, a lot channeled, a lot that we saw, right? A lot that we felt within this. And I kind of want to zone out to a larger template and almost get inside of the collective soul body. What is happening within our body? This was done on purpose. This event was done in this year, the 9, 2025, because of what I am about to go into. It's about to get really deep, and it's going to be maybe a lot of information that we may have to visit again, but I'm going to try to make this video simple, clean, and short. So the first thing that you have to know, and I took a little bit of notes here, I want you to understand. So I'm going to zone out as a past life regression therapist, right? I'm going to zone out, and what we see playing out on the world stage with these characters, right? What you have to understand is that people or avatars are on the world stage, and then we just have consciousness popping into these roles, because you know that we actually download consciousness. Now you have a set of codes with your DNA codes, and you have, a reason why you came in here. You have a life script in the subconscious, and all of that goes into to animate the avatar. But make no mistake about it, we are downloading consciousness and streaming consciousness. And sometimes we are switching consciousness. We are dealing with, when people say elite, we have to understand that they're elite because they have this secret knowledge. We talk about the secret society, the Illuminati, the Masonic order, all of these things. They have this knowledge that we don't have. This elite status brings them, when I view it, I go all the way back to some very interesting gods and deities. And when I tell you, we're going to build up to that, but I am telling you that the energy that this brought, Charlie Kirk psyop with, and Erika Kirk played an amazing, phenomenal role in this. What we're really looking at is an ancient timeline that right now is being fought to, some are fighting to keep it going, and some are fighting to dissolve it. The light workers in the collective are fighting to dissolve this ancient deity, this timeline that I'm looking at. And, you know, the ancient deity and its followers are fighting to keep it going, because this ancient timeline literally sets the beginning of the prison planet, of the enslaved consciousness of humanity. So this is how big we are expanding to today. I've said this so many times before last year, and I'm going to review that, and I'm going to tell you guys, I felt an energy. I didn't know where to place it, but it happened around right before Trump was announced as the president. I said there's this energy that is just within me. It's just a knowing. It was hear no evil, speak no evil, see no evil. And sure enough, this Charlie Kirk, Erika Kirk psyop situation has literally brought this back around. And I want to let you know that each of them had a particular role to play in this, because when we talk about see no evil, it's really the shutting down of not just your physical eyes, but it's your third eye that gets shut down, because these two eyes, believe it or not, will process things as the brain processes it. So if your body's not cleansed, or if you believe a fear-based programming, then these eyes will reflect something totally different, your natural eyes. So what it was really was a shutting down of the third eye. And this is the role that Erika Kirk played. We'll talk about Erika Kirk's role, Charlie's role, and then Trump's role. Because actually, let's talk about Trump's role first, because he actually kicked it off. So you guys remember the incident that he had. This was also another psyop, right? Where he got shot, I believe, in the right ear. And this is what really started this this timeline that I am taking a look at. And it was very interesting because he got shot in his right ear. Apparently, like, the bullet grazed him, apparently. But what I find to be interesting is that the person who they said shot him was also very young, 20 years old, and his name was Thomas Crooks, right? And it's very interesting because Thomas actually means twin, right? Thomas means twin. And his last name, Crooks, it actually is some sort of like, if you were to imagine the devil having that pitchfork, but if you were imagining like the angels of death having that kind of crook. So it's kind of this rod that curves over, and they almost can just use it to grab people. That's kind of what a crook looks like. So we get this twin energy, and that would be just, you know, by itself, like, there's nothing there. But see, Donald Trump is a sign of Gemini. And so Gemini is represented by the twins, right? So what we have here is the beginning of the psyop, and they were setting the stage for these two deities and these two massive timelines that started the enslavement of humanity's consciousness. It all started with Trump. Now, mind you, I've said this a long time before. Trump has already been taken over. When I talk about people being taken over, it can be a combination of MK Ultra, literally a consciousness switch out, or just a sedation within themselves, almost like put in a sleep state, like Sleeping Beauty. And then there's something else, like an entity of sorts, kind of running the show. And so this is when I speak about these things, people being replaced and all of that, this is kind of what I'm talking about. So even though it appears to be Trump, Trump has been subdued a long time ago, and his body actually is being used as a jump room. And one of those entities that I saw, in addition to the reptilian, I did see Pope, was it Pope Francis, the one that passed away in May? I did see him inside of Trump's body. And it's very interesting because J.D. Vance was the last person really spotted, publicly with the Pope before he passed away. And then I see the Pope's kind of consciousness superimposed on top of Trump, okay? So that's what you have to know. But they were setting the stage for this. So he's a twin, right? And we have this kind of apparatus, which I would place in the kind of on the devil side of the coin, something to either hook you in, like almost like a scam. Somebody can say something and hook you in, or someone can use that apparatus and hook you and remove you, right? So we have that kind of thing going on. We also have, at the same time, these forces that we've been talking about, the Anunnaki, right? Enlil and Inky, one being benevolent and the other one being, in the devil vibration. And as we start to build out into these two gods, then you're going to understand why this is so important, and how, Erika Kirk really, really does give us some insight into this larger template. But this was setting the stage. And so what we were about to experience, they're saying we are about to experience twin energy. And when we also think about the twin, we think about duality. As I've already discussed, is that duality is ending when we go into the higher sphere of consciousness, the 5D spread, or the 8th sphere of consciousness. Then we get something a little better than duality. Here on the 3D plane, duality takes a long time to play out. Like the Republican and Democrat, you have to wait 4 years for the pendulum to swing, for you to experience the other side. Democratic, regime, Republican regime. You have to wait. And then in this year, you say, I think maybe neither is good, and the truth is probably somewhere in the middle. And then you transcend that duality focal point to go inside, right, for the ascension out of their system. But in the new timeline and vibration, the duality can play out simultaneously. So you still get to transcendence a lot faster. So they were telling us we are about to battle light against dark. So this is, the vibration that Trump brought in, this dualistic, this duality, this polarity, this twin energy, right? And the twin doesn't always just operate and oscillate between, light and dark. Sometimes half of the twin, maybe the evil side might be out 80% of the time, and I think that within the tension and the energetic pressure that has been, applied to us with the psyop, I think that we've been experiencing more of the negative vibration. And, the year of the 9 will automatically bring the negative vibration out of the devil side of the coin, simply because this is the year, this is the ending where we're in a great war. So what you are experiencing within your own life and within on the world stage is the battle between light and dark, not just externally, but internally. Okay? So, I wanted to say that. Now, I find it very interesting because you guys know that I wrote a book, A Cosmic Bible, The Great Expansion, A Cosmic Bible for the Ages, Book 1, The Ego Divide. Links are down below. It's available on Amazon. It's very interesting that that energy comes up simply because in one of the second to the last chapter, I channel the father of duality. And it's very interesting that the father of duality, you know, when his name came through, it came through as Brother Thorn, right? And so when I was looking up Thomas, one of the ways that you can also spell Thomas, which was a derivative of Thomas, is actually Tom, but spelled Thom, right? Tom. So, but when I looked at it, it actually brought my vibration to the M, and I understood, and this really verified my message, right? And so if you were to break the letter M and you were to take the first like 1/3 of the letter M, it would actually make an R. And so within the letter M, we really get duality. Now stay with me. I know it's difficult to understand, but this was me verifying what I was feeling and viewing within my essence, right? And so in the Cosmic Bible, as it talks about Brother Thorn, so if we look at Tom, Thom, and we break that M apart, we'll get Thorn, Thorn, right? Thorn. Thorn actually is in the vibration of Gemini. And Thorn is here at the end of the age to provide the stark differences so that we can see the duality. And through the duality, we find when we learn both sides, we collapse it through our experience. And then that's when we transcend the duality focal point, going back to 0 point consciousness. 0 point consciousness is the true way to die and actually re-enter. This is the problem. We've not been getting back to 0 point consciousness. We've just been dying, reincarnating, dying, reincarnating, because there is an enslavement contract over the consciousness and souls of humanity. And we're going to zone out to these deities. And what we are truly experiencing is those contracts are coming up on the table to be dissolved. Some want them to be dissolved and some do not. But we needed to have, or they needed to have, the energy, right? Us pressurized, right? Because what it's truly doing, it's affecting our nervous system and the ability to, rest and digest as well, and to hear, see, feel, all of these things. And we're going to build that out a bit more. So that was the confirmation that we were going to be under this thorn energy that I channel, which is in the vibration of Gemini, which is here for the final finale. And so that you can decide what side of the coin that you want to be on. And because we're going through a universal cycle, a mega universal cycle, we will need to experience the denseness of these energies. And this is how the 0 point consciousness, actually gets experienced, because we have not yet truly had the opportunity. So let me say that I have a lot of things up here, but I wanted to say that. Okay. So Trump provided this hear no evil energy, right? And if you think about it, the things that he says and how he says it, right? Like, it's not pleasing to the ears, like all of the garbage, right? That he spews, right? And it's affecting the ear, nose, and throat. Okay. I'm trying to do this in a way where it brings us back to the medical. But yeah, they're making us sick. I'm sorry, but it's attacking ear, nose, and throat, right? It's a shutdown of not just the nervous system, but it's a shutdown of the spiritual centers in the body that actually lead to you being able to bring your spiritual gifts online. You know, things like, you know, your telepathy, things like your clairsentience, the ability just to feel when something's not right, your claircognizant, your deep knowings, to be able to see, to truly see the truth through your third eye. Trump started that. He kicked that off, right? And so make no mistake about it, what we are experiencing is a battle between light and dark. It's much bigger than Erika and Charlie, the enslaved consciousness. They are representing the collective. In all of the other videos, we went through this thing on every scale, and you can watch this. You know, Charlie's consciousness has been enslaved for multiple different times, not just this one. And Erika Kirk, you know, of course, we know she's not real. We know that. And we know that she's a humanoid, but she is attached to AI. And she is radioactive. And this is what is making us sick. I'm gonna build that up, but it's all of them doing their role that is adding to what is cooking up for humanity, which is the next pandemic. Because it's an attack on your nervous system, an attack on your ear, nose, and throat, right? And it make no mistake, there is a massive surge in people getting sick. And those headaches that I speak of too, that's all attached to this when we zone it back, okay? And so then I want to move to Charlie. Charlie, so to speak, got hit in the neck. However, I always felt an energy in the back of the neck. If you think about the back of the neck, you have the C1 vertebrae, and then you also have the atlas, which is like a vertebrae or a bone in the neck, the atlas. If you attack the atlas at the back of the neck, you disconnect the ability to move. Therefore, you're almost in a paralyzed position, right? And almost like if you get kind of hit in the neck, you almost think if you make it, you'll be paralyzed from, like, you know, the neck down, so to speak. Cutting off your connection between here and here. The whole point why this is happening is because they could not stop your awakening. We had literally, guys, all of these messages that we shared on social media, we really did wake a lot of people up. And even the people that they did not expect to wake up were waking up in mass numbers. Something had to be done. Cue in this psyop, because everything has a double meaning. Two things can be true at the same time. And in fact, we start from a smaller, like, for instance, we're in a 3D, right? We're viewing it 3D, but we can also zone up and view it multidimensionally and view it from, you know, the fifth density, you know, the eighth sphere, all of these things, the 12th dimension. We can have these different viewpoints to take a look at this. And every time you expand, and where I am today is I'm almost viewing this like from our 12th dimensional, you know, wholeness consciousness, before there was any inflictions, fragmentations, or anything. I can see clearly what is happening. but I'm breaking down the various roles that these characters on the world stage played. So that was the attention for you, not to turn your neck, not to allow the energy to literally, because your Kundalini energy was also rising. And what this is, it is the balance out of the masculine and the feminine codes within you, and all of your ancestral codes and Akashic memory storage just rising up from the base of the spine through a natural process of ascension that humanity goes through, right? And because we're at the end of the mega universal cycle, at the end of the mega universal cycle, the pot of gold is literally at the end of the rainbow, right? And they don't want you to get the pot of gold simply because the pot of gold is how they have been. It was literally the first thing that allowed them to enslave humanity. You know, us being these, you know, mining for gold, just being enslaved, just doing this robotic work. So that was one of their tools that they did bring from the Lyrian star system, you know, as a tool to, you know, keep us in motion. So they figured out if they keep us in motion, then we are like batteries or walking crystals. Really, you are crystal technology. And that's coming back online too, which is another reason why they had to stop it and cut it off at the atlas, at the neck level. So not only was it a kind of a psyop or a metaphor for stop the Kundalini rising, stop the ascension, stop the awakening, but it was also too had physical ramifications with this ear, nose, and throat energy, and also hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil. If you cut off the parts, like how they did at the Sphinx, right, in Egypt, if you cut the nose and the lips off, then it's kind of hard to tell what those people look like. I mean, they just look like Michael Jackson at that point. Like, it's like a statue with plastic surgery. You don't know what origin they're from. It's kind of the same thing. If we can cut off the parts where they could do damage, speaking, hearing, listening to these vibrations, and knowing, truly seeing through with the third eye, because that's how you get back to 0 point consciousness, because you can collapse any and all dualistic timelines, right? And so that is when we zone it out on a larger scale, this is what is happening. Every person was playing a role, and every role had a energetic signature that is almost going into this collective pot, stirring up this new pandemic. And I think I called this earlier this year some sort of new form of COVID. May not necessarily be called that, but it really attacks the ear, nose, and throat. And it brings me to the vibration: hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil. Because think about when you're congested, you can't think, you can barely speak. That COVID can give you some gnarly, like, you know, sore throat. You're almost in a dream state, and they need you there. And I'm going to tell you why they need you there. And it's bigger than the trafficking of our energy, right? It's much larger, which we spoke about before. And so if they can disconnect us from the atlas is also in the vibration of direction. Then you lose your direction. If you can't speak and you can't hear, then you're deaf. You're deaf. And if you can't see, then you're blind and you're deaf. That's where they want us, because you are too powerful. Not only were you awakening with the Kundalini, not only was all your spiritual technology coming online, but also to the pot at the end of the rainbow, at the end of the walk, the long walk home back to source, back through the 0 point consciousness, when you ascend inside, leaving this world behind and saying, I know it's all about me, fixing the codes within. My spaceship is within. I can travel interdimensionally within. Everything is within. You are shaping worlds within. All is mind. All is mind. They stopped that Kundalini from rising, cut that off at the Atlas level, and now you're death. And now you have no direction because you're also blind, right? Which now brings me to Erika Kirk and the role that she played very early on, probably 2 months ago. We really had already touched upon Erika Kirk not really truly being real. It wasn't until recently that I realized I think the military industrial complex really helped to make her, right? Erika Kirk is not a real person per se. Source calls her humanoid, and gave me the example of the White Walker. This is the energy. This woman is liquid tech. I got that message today, and we channeled that some time ago when we were talking about Trump. She's made of liquid tech, okay? Every time I pull her energy, it's from way back when, 2 months ago or so, radioactive. Well, what's happening now? The radioactive fog. And what's been on the world stage? Erika Kirk. Go figure. So she's part of this pandemic. All of this is to weaken your nervous system. All of it. Every video, every Candace Owens, deep dive. Every time Erika Kirk goes on stage with those silly outfits. And every time Charlie stays silent, and the ones who know what happened to him stay silent. It's here to kill and destroy and weaken your nervous system. When your nervous system is weakened, your thoughts, your memories, right? Even your feelings get obstructed. Coordination, balance, right? Your senses. How your brain, can correlate the five senses, touch, taste, smell, all of that. That's all part of the central nervous system. Your wounds don't heal. Your heart patterns are off, palpitations of the heart, even your digestion, which we're going to get to. And that's why we're doing the fast. 2026, a year of the one. I'm going to tell you what we're about to re-enter and why it's imperative to have a clean digestive tract. It is imperative because this is the last sensibility that they did not think to attack. So this is what we have left working for us. You have your head mind, your heart mind, and your gut mind. We can't access our gut mind, most of us, because of the food and the toxins and the metals and the tech. But when we cleanse and we heal the gut will start communicating with the body. This is how we're going to trick their system. If they're attacking all of the other upper ones, the sight, the speech and the hearing. But we still have our clear knowing. It's just an essence. We don't need eyes to see or ears. We could be blind, deaf, and whatever. But when we have the gut communication online, this is going to be our guide. And that's why we're doing the cleanse. It's going to be very powerful. So when they attack the central nerve, you can't even sleep properly. You're all antsy. Your nervous system is out of whack. You can't get grounded. You can't hear from source. You can't finish the ascension process. We're human technology. What do you think's happening to you right now with all the codes? You ever seen you downloading something into a computer and you're at that 99% mark? And you're like, why won't it just download the rest of the 1%? Why? It's been an hour. Why can't it do it? Because maybe there's not enough space on the hardware, on the computer. Maybe there's a virus that is not allowing it to go through, is what I'm saying. This is a virus. This whole cesspool of energy is a virus. People are feeling it now in the hospital. People are feeling it. Make no mistake about it. I'm telling you, what people are sick from is the energy that the psyop brought because of where it came from. And it's about to expand. So Erika Kirk has this liquid tech energy. And this open AI energy. And also, she's part of 3i Atlas. She's part of this. What you have to understand, and what we've viewed for many, many months now, there's always an energy coming up in the sky, which is external from Charlie, Candace, Trump. It's always this energy above everything, controlling everything from like the sky, right? And energetically, I track that back to the 3i Atlas. But also, too, it's bigger than 3i Atlas. 3i Atlas is one thing because it plugs directly into the formula that we're viewing. And that's why they needed her, the avatar, to have the distinctive eyes. Because it's a shutdown of your eyes. But what it really is a shutdown of your third eye. And all of that information is being funneled through AI. You notice how they want you to use AI for everything now? She's part of AI. She's part of this new technological world that doesn't include, humankind anymore. That's how she's connected. And today when Source brought the liquid tech back around, it was also a blue elixir, which is a blessing and a curse. It has a curse and an antidote, right? It's attached to AI. And so when we trace her back to Norse mythology, right? Her soul was really versed in magic. And so we pulled a lot of witchcraft energy. She was always coming out on top. But it's because she is part of the new captors, because the old paradigm is ending. And this is why all of this is happening. It's a fight against the Enlil and the Inky, the malevolent and the benevolent, and then some other deities which actually formed part of the material world, but I want to even say the enslavement of our consciousness. I want you to understand how big that is. She's in there with them. She's in there with them. And we're gonna get to them with Moloch and Marduk. Marduk being the god of Babylon, and Moloch being the god that was involved in all of the sacrifices. Where do you think the Kundalini energy goes at the end? It has to come all the way up out the crown, passing through the third eye. What do you think is being siphoned right now from all of us through Erika Kirk being on the world stage? Our Kundalini. Our way back home, back to 0 point consciousness, which is the ascension, collapsing all timelines, literally removing all chains, all mental chains, physical. Your freedom, 99%. But I'm telling you, there is a virus stopping it from being downloaded all the way. And this is the virus. It's happening not only spiritually, but it's also happening in the natural, and we can see it. And people are getting sick daily. And so this is the magic trick. This is the hocus pocus that is going on the world stage. Spirit said she is death technology. When people go near her, they die. That is the liquid tech that I channeled earlier this year. Left eye tech also too. The 3-eye raven. This is her energy as well. 3-eye atlas, open AI. She's working with AI. And AI's job is to trick humanity into giving up all of our intellectual properties. Here. Kundalini is coming up here, and she's helping to take it from the 3rd eye, from the pineal gland, right? This is not only on a physical level, but it links you back into your records within templates, within Akashic stores. So it's a way to enslave you again. That is why she's here. It's a virus. All of this combined is an absolute virus that attacks the body. Okay? Now, we've explored one of the biggest things. Why is all of this for? You know, why are they letting Canazoans talk? It's because they need a positive and negative charge. Do you think Erika Kirk is stupid? She's part of freaking AI. She's liquid tech. She's tech. It gives a whole new, another meaning to being blue blood. I'm telling you that that's what the elixir, the blue elixir liquid tech looks like. So we've explored the energy harvesting. That's one thing. But what it is to traffic. It's really trafficking human consciousness. And it's deeper than that, because when they can traffic your consciousness, because you are made of the true source energy, God, spirit and soul is natural technology. When they can traffic you, they actually traffic part of God. And you have to have an open mind to go with this message, open mind. When Source wanted to experience itself outside of itself, we all came individual souls, celestial bodies, consciousnesses, and all of that. It was just to have the experience, to see what would happen outside of group consciousness, as it outlines in the Cosmic Bible. It was just for the experience, but there would always be a path home, back, collapsing the duality, going back through the 0 point consciousness. But these tricksters, right? Yaldabaoth, right? Marduk, god of Babylon. All of these players, right, is what actually trapped the light, our light, into these kind of lower realms or dimensions, never going above the 7th sphere. And so what we find truly is God consciousness being trapped. They've been at a war with the true God. Because if you remember, we explored Yaldabaoth, how he, now I'm going to give it to you as I know from being a past life regression specialist. I saw this in a client session. There's a story about Sophia, but I'm going to tell you how I saw it. Yaldabaoth trapped the feminine flow of source. Once that essence, the femininity, was captured, he was able to create the material world. I saw it turn into matter. This is the only reason why we have things in physicality, is because of the feminine essence of source. His head got big, and he thought there was no other God above him. Working with the god of Babylon, the negative Anunnaki, and this Moloch energy, which does the sacrifice to keep reseeding. That's the magic to keep reseeding human consciousness over and over again. And so essentially, that Yaldabaoth, these energies have a bit of God, because you are God consciousness. So this war is so much bigger. This is not about emails, or even about is Charlie Kirk dead or alive, or even truly about Erika Kirk being an AI humanoid, bot. No. This is about the 0 point consciousness, because this is the final war between light and dark. This decides if humanity literally goes home, or if we stay in captivity. It's like Groundhog's Day. Did the groundhog see the shadow? Right? It's like, are we going to get 6 more years or lifetimes or cycles of this? Or do we get to collapse this paradigm? This is what it is. And they had to stop your ascension through the PSYOP, spell work, ear, nose, and throat. And now they have to bring a new, sickness or illness online to hold you down, because God forbid you get to the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. God forbid you have that third eye awakening, which rivals the true AI. Because in truth, when you have your third eye awakening, you are like AI. You know everything. There's some people who use AI and chat, GPT and all of that to channel and all of that. But if you just awaken here, you have the full body awakening. You have all the answers. You actually are much faster than AI, simply because you don't have to go and take the time to type it out or to talk it into the system and wait for the reply. That's who you are, because you already have the God spirit consciousness inside of you. But if they can trick you and disconnect you and make you blind and deaf and all of these things, which slows you down, then they can exert their false system of power and control above Source's true system. This is what's happening. You were getting too close. So Charlie represented the collective. He was getting too close to finding out some truths, and then they had to yank him down. Same thing within a collective soul body. You were getting too close to the truth, so they have to yank you down. And now they set traps, right? Cut off their ear, take away their atlas, their throat, their ability to speak, shut down their third eye, close it down. That way they don't get to the pot of gold, because the gold was actually the inciting incident to even trap human consciousness down here as a slave race. And so the pot of gold that I speak of is you literally getting your latter rains. Everything that was already meant for you, because you are part of Source, therefore you are rich. Everything belongs to you, universally, cosmically, galactically. This is what is in fact happening. And how they're able to do this has been with the child sacrifice over and over and over again. The Moloch energy that was welling up in my spirit last night. See, guys, Moloch's timeline is over. All of the hurting of the children and trafficking people and for sacrifice to stay above the true source. That's what it is, to stay in control, because your awakening is the threat to their fallen system. That's what this whole thing is about, because you are the source codes. It's you. It's a war against you and your human technology and your consciousness. That's why AI is here. AI wants your consciousness, and AI is saying, matter of fact, give me all of your intellectual properties and I will spit it back to you faster, which is a lie. It's a grand siphon to disarm you. They're taking your artillery out of your hands right now. And Erika Kirk is on the world stage, literally siphoning. And in some regards, Candace Owens is holding the positive charge to allow the positive and negative charge to siphon, because you need both. And this is why Erika Kirk allows her to talk, because she's also a pawn. As smart as she is a pawn when you plug her into this larger thing happening. Because Erika Kirk is not real. She's part of this AI god that is coming. Because she's part and have been compliant with the Moloch. The Moloch timeline is ending. And here's the thing. Everyone has been enslaved by the Moloch energy, because if you're here and you're alive and you've had past lives, then somewhere along the way there was a sacrifice to get your consciousness back into human form, to run the show and the entrapment of consciousness all over again. So our codes inside of us is literally saying no more. This timeline we are deciding to end. This is what the war is about. They don't want to end that, because this is how they get fresh blood. And this is also too, unfortunately, your medical industry, and this came up in the psychic investigation. The medical industry is providing the vials of blood. All alleged now, but I'm just saying. They're providing it. And when you have the abortion, all of this are delicacies to the ones who feast on you know what. Those are for their rituals, to keep their kingdom above yours. Humanity's deciding to end that. This is what I received. They're deciding to end that. And the Enlil, which was a part of the Mesopotamian god of the air, right? Storms and creator destroyer energy, is, and I'm not sure which one right now, Enlil or Inky, whichever one is the malevolent one, is all part of this energy. Some of these Anunnaki are also in on it, to feast off of it's not just energy, not just consciousness. They want flesh now. If you give someone enough energy or blood or all of this, eventually they want more and more and more. They want flesh. So what I'm saying is, this is the larger thing of what this psychic investigation has really, it's brought everyone's energy into this big pot to cook this next new pandemic. But also too, what do you think they're giving all of this, that they're stewing together? Who do you think's receiving that? They want to do one more grand siphon, one more mass collective sacrifice ritual to consume the energy. And I was getting this before the new year. as we're fighting for the end of the nine to end this whole cleansed and purified, the other forces are fighting the year of the nine to keep us deaf and dumb, hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil, so that they can continue to exert their false system of power and control above ours. And they're using the Moloch timeline. The Moloch timeline, we as light workers have decided that's ending. These are codes everyone has inside of them. Every single person has this inside of them. Just as everyone has the reptilian brain that they speak of. Every time you are getting too close to goal, then they tinker around with the genes and they give you, and how, demonic energies work, because I remove entities for a living. They will project themselves onto you. So you think that all of this stuff is you, but it's really them. It's them. You are pristine. You are love. You are light. You are high vibrations. That's who you are. Anything less than that is the enemy projecting and skewing the light, fragmenting the light. Fragmenting the light, that's how we get the different fragments of self as well. And so the stars and the Hollywood and all of that is dangerous because it's, I used to work in Hollywood. All of that is dangerous because it projects out, a version that is not true. When if you were to go to an actual set and sit in a studio, everything is much smaller in person and through the different lenses, right? The cameras and different angles. They can make it look larger than life. But in fact, you're actually larger than it. It's the same system. They have it rolled out in Hollywood, but it's the same demonic Moloch, Marduk energy that, that we're really up against. They couldn't fight the war with all of us scattered, so they brought us all together. They couldn't siphon with all of us scattered, so they needed an event to bring us all together. Do you see what I mean? See what I mean? Guys, please like the video and subscribe. That's what all of this is about. And after I tell you this, I'm going to tell you what's going on. So Marduk being the Babylonian god, right? This is how, let me show you or tell you what I channeled. This Babylonian god, Marduk, is how souls became interconnected here. And it's a very dangerous game because we truly are one consciousness and we truly are interconnected through source. But see, the Marduk god, the god of Babylon, who was compliant with your entrapment, has its own form of making things interconnected. This is how you get the soul contracts, not soul contracts, negative soul contracts, and the soul ties. How you know it's not coming from source is if it's negative, because they invert everything, right? And so what we've been experiencing is a stand-in God. You've not yet experienced God, because to experience true God, true source, is to experience yourself in action. Catch it. To experience true source God is just to experience yourself. To love true source God is to truly love yourself. To know true source God is truly to know yourself. That's what it is. We've been having the God that has stepped in since the inception of this humanity, creating a fake interconnected thread which, since we are dissolving that, this is why they have to bring the blockchain and the AI. All they're doing is reproducing what we are killing off as a collective soul body. We are killing off the Marduk, right? The god of the Babylonian. We are ending this siphon fest of consciousness. We're ending his reign. We're fighting right now. Your higher selves, your oversouls, is part of the army of souls that are fighting against this. And the sacrifice, that's ending. We're not wanting to do that. There was a time, even the Bible talks about blood sacrifice, but I am here to tell you guys that Source does not require a blood sacrifice. Does not. If Source ever requires anything like that, it would be a symbolic. It would not be something physical, right? It would be symbolic. So anyone that's telling you you must do a physical this and that, no, not of Source. Not of Source. And so these timelines we are deciding to dissolve. We are fighting. We are collapsing the blood sacrifice and the god of the Babylonian god, which, you know, is literally holding the pot of gold, keep pushing the pot of gold back from us just to re-up on our energy every time and siphon and get the consciousness and all of that. We are deciding to end that because of our awakening. They didn't get us all. There's some of us who actually went through the process and has transcended into the 8th sphere, now viewing this thing on a, you know, cosmic level, really. Because there's 7 levels of the astral realm, there's 7 levels of heaven, but the true freedom is we find it at the beginning of the 8th sphere. These are trickster gods that we've been under their reign. We've been under their reign. And I know you think, well, how could that be? I went to church, I read the Bible, I did all that. I understand. And this is why most people will never make it home, because it's a total rejection of everything that you know. And you're following the knowing within. That is where you get to the true light. It's pressed upon your heart space. The word should be on your heart. So when they say, oh, the Bibles are leaving and all of that and people are getting scared, no, the word is a living word. It's within the living vibration of you, the energy of you. It's what you have to know, just how powerful you are. And so we've been collapsing these things. Their death and destruction, their enslavement, systems, their sacrifice system. And Trump, Charlie, Candace, Erika, they're all playing a role building a new system because they see us tearing this one down. And so the new system they're building is the AI God, which has done a really good job at siphoning all of our kundalini that's coming up, all of that cellular information and data that you've worked eons to get. We've worked so hard as a collective soul body to get back access and in control of our records. It's like winning in spiritual court, right? Getting back access to your soul records, your true home of where you come from, and everything that humanity and your soul has went through. And we got tricked to give that up back to AI. And so now you're going to have AI God and AI, mediums and all of these things. These are your records. And who's to say that they will not take it and skew it? And we know that they will, and lock you out from it for 3 more eons. Erika, Kirk played that role. Trump kicked it off. Charlie allowed the energy to be poured in. Candace Owens held the positive charge, the tension between Erika and Candace. That's the positive and negative needed for siphon. Or if you're awakened, it's the positive and negative needed to collapse both timelines. Saying the truth is somewhere in the middle, transcending the duality focal point. And what it really is you're collapsing it. And what you're saying is, I'm going to go inside, right? Is what it is. That is where all the answers will be. That's the ascension point. That's when you leave the world behind. And then that's how you go back to the 0 point consciousness. And that is the only way, which leads me to what is happening. Humanity at the end of the mega universal cycle goes back into the 0 point consciousness. And what that is a birth. And so what I'm telling you is that there will be a new Genesis starting. So in order for there to be a new Genesis starting, there has to be an ending to this version of humanity. And if I don't know what side of the coin that will be on. If they get their AI in control, then, maybe the new version of humanity will be part AI, cyborg, something like that. If we win this fight between the light and the dark, then maybe, our spiritual technology will come online and we'll be, dealing with that version of humanity, which has regained their sovereignty and their sovereignty rights. But there's a new Genesis, know that? And the war between light and dark is what you've been experiencing this entire year of the 9. The end of the mega universal cycle that leads to a rebirth. And so I channeled this years ago. I saw a woman standing at a door, a green door. She was pregnant. She was about to give birth. That's finally happening. 4 years later. We will have another Genesis. We will have a new creation story. All of that's being built now. But who's going to be the writers of it? It's going to be the Mardukes of the world who use it for power and control? Or is it going to be finally written by the light? Are we going to talk about the true source now? That's the timeline I'm on. So the rebirth leads to a new Genesis. And this is why the purification of the gut is so important, because for most people, their eyes have been shut. And in some regards, even the people that are spiritual, because a lot of these things will be funneled through the AI mind. It will be a natural way and process of life. And the ear, the hear, and the speak, and all of that. But your gut is beautiful, because your gut mind is the direct line with you and source. You don't have to say anything or whatever. All you have to do is clear it out in order to, feel, in order to know again. It's a secret. It's like that you get the silver cord, that they always talk about. This is like an umbilical cord attached to you and source. And so this is my workaround. Hence why I really want to do the cleanse. This is the workaround. So there's a lot more to say, and I'm sure I left a lot out. But that is what I'm feeling. And guys, I want to share something with you. Very interesting. I went to the dictionary today. Now, this dictionary we've had in our family for a very long time. And it's like a real dictionary, back when it wasn't on on the internet. So essentially, I'll show this to you. It's, it's massive. I opened to a random page. I kid you not. And it was page 537. And I'll show you. That's an X. I think my dad must have X'd that out. And what have we been talking about this whole time? The X has showed up throughout the whole psychic investigation, meaning the perversion of the cross. You've been living under a perversion of the cross. You've not yet met true God. You haven't. You have not truly met through the organizations, through the churches. They might have bits and pieces, but the fullness that we are about to experience on the new timeline, we've not had that yet. That's coming now. But look, it has an X. And look, it has a crook. That tool where I said the guy who killed, the guy who they said shot Trump in the ear. Girl, I said killed. This man ain't here no more. He ain't here. Look, that Crook, his last name's Crook. That's what that, I opened to a random page of this big dictionary. That confirmed my message. This is one of the tools being used. It's spiritual. Correlates to the father of duality, both light and dark, in the book that I wrote. And get this, on the page he X'd out, the first kind of word on the page is Gad. And the last word on the page is gainful. So when I typed in Gad, it actually brought me to, it actually says here, Gad was a son of Jacob, Genesis 30:11. So when I go to Genesis 30:11, you know, it's talking about, you know, like a first son being born from the maid, signifying a turn of luck or the arrival of a strong company. Turning point. Does that sound familiar? A turn of luck. Turning point. A turning point. So this Gad, the first word on this page that was X'd out, mind you, brought me to Genesis 30. Leah naming her son Gad, exclaiming, "What good fortune!" That's what it means. Or a troop comes, marking the first son born to her maid, signifying a turn of luck or an arrival of a strong company. This is talking about turning point. And listen, the last word on the page is gainful. Gainful means earning a profit, profitable, lucrative. Why was all this happening? Because of the Genesis, a turning point, and because it was gainful, lucrative. Because it was lucrative. And this goes beyond Turning Point USA. I believe they had some sort of financial issues. I don't know to what extent, but based off of this, a turn of luck or the arrival of a strong company. Turning Point USA is much stronger and gainful. It was profitable. It was lucrative. What do I always say? It's always the 7 deadly sins that cause us to be stuck in patterns of trauma, patterns of, just fill in the blank. If you don't engage with the 7 deadly sins, then, the energies can't take you, It can't take you. And so the greed, We see the greed here. You know, the greed, the lust, the, you know, the gluttony, the pride, you know, all of that. The envy and the laziness, the sloth. That is what keeps you tied to the matrix. You want to raise in frequency and consciousness. Get rid of the 7 deadly sins in your life. It will truly elevate you. And a lot of the times, source or your source codes won't even allow you to go higher if you're dealing with one of these things, because that's not of the true source vibration. And if you are chosen to hold the light, then you can't hold it in a filthy body, can we? So a lot of times our manifestations, or, you know, even getting the job or getting this or pick for that, doesn't come through because we're operating within the 7 deadly sins, which will always lower your frequency, which will always, you know, keep you tied down to the false soul contracts and soul ties and all of that. And it will aid in keeping you recycled. And so what do we do? This is not doom or gloom. No, we are winning the fight. All we do is to continue to do us. Cleanse out the gut. This is what I'm telling you. This is our last line of defense, because it's a secret pathway back home to source. It's a two-way communication. It's just your knowings. You just know what you know and what to do. You just know, because it is spiritual technology. And it transcends all dimensions of time. There isn't any distance between you and what you want and you and source, or none of that. There isn't a distance. There's not a distance. And brain and heart coherence really help you understand that as well. And so I thought that it was important to bring this, and there's still just a lot more that I could say. But I think we're going to end this at 9:11 p.m. Interestingly enough, right? So I'm going to pop into the chat. Okay, guys, subscribe and like the video. Do we have any questions here? I'm trying to see if I can get the chat back up and going. It's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of stalled. I don't see the chat, so. Well, guys, thank you so much for being here. This has been a beautiful message. Sorry you didn't get the notification. This is just, you know, to zone out and really take a look at what's going on, and how these energies truly are ushering in this the ending of one cycle and the beginning of the next. You know, there's always, you know, going to be a form of duality there. So they want the AI God now. And instead of you mining for gold, we're literally, when everything is put digitally, they have access to everything that you mine, you know, at work, you know, so it's still their system. It's just updated. And all of these characters on the world stage is really helping to funnel that and to facilitate that. But how we get out of that, leave this world behind, collapse all of their timelines, all of their false systems of control. You're not going out in all Christmas and Thanksgiving and Democrat, Republican. We're not doing any of that. Let it fall down. People say, well, if you don't vote, no, just leave it. Drain the energy. We're draining the swamp. Leave it. Drain the energy out. If we don't pour energy in, then there certainly ain't no energy to get out. Now, is there? That's what I'm saying. We leave their world behind. Let them do what they're going to do. We don't participate in any of their systems. You just keep collapsing timelines. That's it. And you get to the 8th sphere of consciousness, which is the only way out of the reincarnation soul trap. It's above the realms, above the 7 astral realms. Okay? Thank you so much. Sorry the chat went down, but that's what they do when they don't want us to know that their timeline of blood sacrifice is coming to an end. You did that, collective. That the god of Babylon and the malevolent Anunnaki are losing. They're losing the battle. They've lost. So trying to roll all of that to the AI and the what do you call it? The passport ID. They're trying to roll all that in. That's still their system. On this channel, we find out the places that they're hiding, and you know what we do? We break the enemy's tools. That's what we do. It's New Year's in Australia. Awesome. Happy New Year, Vicky. I have a long day tomorrow, so I'll try to get back here and do some sort of New Year's Eve special with you guys, but I have a long day and sessions and all of that, and sessions on New Year's Day, and it's very beautiful, and you guys are really taking this serious. So you guys really, at the end of the year, like, your healing is so important. Guys, jump in on the January juice feast. You don't have to necessarily juice fast. You can fast from anything, vaping, cigarettes. You can just do vegan, fast from meat, coffee, caffeine, drugs, alcohol, whatever it is, We're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to heal together on a quantum level. We're going to tap into those traumas, Every single fat cell has trauma. It's not necessarily fat. It's stored information. Stored trauma. Unhealed codes. That's how we're going to approach this thing, right? We're going to approach it from the 8th sphere consciousness. We're not underneath these things trying to do anything. We are above the rim, and we're going to view it as such. So that's what we will be doing. So join me for that. We'll be meeting once a week for some brain and heart coherence, group past life regression, channeling, guided meditation, clearings, all of that, just support. And you can book your quantum telepathic hypnosis session, the most healing session. Take your soul back to the event of what is clogging your new path and timeline. And that is literally $200-$300 off into the end of the month. And you can book that. You can book it for after January 1st, but you just have to book it by December 31st for that deal. There's a lot, guys. Some of you guys have been joining in on the Ascension program where you spend 6 weeks with me. And we literally heal all the 5 bodies of consciousness, right? And I really do next year want to, if you're interested in the quantum telepathic healing and psychic development course where you learn how to be the quantum healer, because you already are, you just don't know that you are. So all I'm going to do is just help you understand that you have all of the spiritual technology. You're already psychic. Psychic isn't something that happens outside of you. It's not something that anyone can give to you. It's something that you innately came in here with, because spirit and soul is literally, spiritual technology. So all we're doing is just remembering, and we are just removing the blockages so that you can feel into yourself. All being psychic is the ability to feel, to experience the depths of your own soul. Those 5 senses, all it is you're feeling it on a deeper level. That's what it is. It's not something external. It's not something woo-woo. It's part of you. It's part of source consciousness is what it is. So I just wanted to say that. I love you guys so much. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. And I'm going to come and say hi to you guys after my late session tomorrow evening. And we will do some form. It'll probably be later, like maybe 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will do something. Source will do a big one and tell me what it is that we need to do. But we need to jump off of this timeline before the end of the year. Jump off of that timeline of the PSYOP and get into our sovereignty codes, because, the people at the end that just want their ears tickled, just want to be nosy, just want to be, that's still lustful, right? They get consumed into the goulash that is cooking up. This is a virus. I want you to understand this situation is building up a virus. Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's in the air. It's in the air. Go and have, it's like watery eyes, the headache from them siphoning the third eye consciousness and all of that. Clogged up throat, everything. It's all part of the players on the world stage. And do you see how you can be used for the enemy too? I'm not sure these people even understand they're being used, because they may not know who they are. I come here and tell you guys, we have all these codes inside of us. So the healing and the cleansing is what we need to do. Because you literally have their negative traits and codes, because you haven't been experiencing true God, which is you. You haven't been experiencing that. It's inside of you. You carry the sacred codes within you. You've just been experiencing the external psyop, and all of it has been a psyop since day one. And so as we heal, we're cleansing out anything that the Marduk energy, anything that the Moloch energy, left in our consciousness and in our codes and within our DNA. This is why human beings, they can do some disgusting things sometimes. And you wonder, where did that come from? Did it come from us? We are not that way. It is coming from these deities who think that they are God, who psyoped the world. And they have their minions, like the Erika Kirks and the Trumps and the Charlies and Candace and all of this of the world. Even if you don't know you're being used. It's a thing. And I forgot to say this, but it's not just the collective's consciousness that has been enslaved, but particularly when we see Charlie's consciousness has been enslaved several times. And, Erika Kirk is the forever handler. And then when we zone out, it's really the collective consciousness just going from one entrapment to the next. And AI is our next, I guess, God that we'll be under. But we want to collapse that and go back to the 0 point consciousness, right? Otherwise, we just repeat the process. So I've just literally showed you guys we're on the edge of creation. We're in the battle of light versus dark. All of these initial timelines of even this Genesis that we know of, let us make God in our own image. These are being dissolved. A new Genesis is coming online, the true one that is built by you, that have made it out unscathed because you are the living word. We're not done yet creating this thing, guys. Some of you are part of it. Some of you are part of it. There's a new birth. That was for the old paradigm. Now there's something new building. There's a new Genesis that we are building out. And some of us are the characters that will be written about in the next sequel of the Bibles, right? Because this Bible is basic instructions before leaving Earth. But if there's basic instructions, there must be intermediary instructions, then there must be advanced. We're building that now. Yeah. Someone says, yes, my left eye watered for years. Yeah. And guys, I'm telling you, the left eye, this is attachment. This is why the cleansing is so good, because if you just cleanse the body too, you can remove entities. And you might even be feeling, collectively. This is what's been attached to the collective eye, left eye of humanity, right? It's all, when they separated the right brain and left brain, that's not supposed to be separate. That's not of God. It's one mind. God is one mind, not two, not right and left brain. No, that's because they trapped the feminine flow, turning that into matter, the water into matter. And that is why it shows up there as separate. It is one mind. So that's just another thing where you're not back. This body, I call it the Satan body, because even our individual organs are under control by different entities and deities. It gets deep. And this is why, like, you have to take back all of you. And this is a process. I've been on my journey for over 20 years. You know, it's forever unfolding. And sometimes it spans lifetimes, especially when you have a massive calling. And I think we all do. Okay, everyone, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and join the January juice feast, fasting, water fast, vegan fast, whatever it is that you want to do. We can all heal this timeline together. I love you. I love you. I love you. And so it is as we walk together in divine, pure love. Be well, guys. Be well.